All right, guys, so today I want to do a off-grid test. I might run it into tomorrow as well. So over here I got the Sol-Ark 12K, and I got a Solar Edge 10 kW AC coupled inverter. And so, yeah, I'm going to go outside, turn off the main breaker. We got kind of a cloudy day. We're using some heat. We have heat pumps that are running. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. So right now my battery's at 97%, pulling about 1.3 kW from the grid. And my 10.9 kW of solar on the south facing roof is producing 770 watts. You can also see this is my north facing array over here, so 180 watts coming from there. Pretty cloudy out. Alright, so there's one of my heat pumps running. So over here, this is a solar meter. This is coming from the Solar Edge. And this is power coming from the grid right now. So we're just going to turn that off. There we go. So no more power coming from the grid. It does look like the Solar Edge is shut off, probably because it's 97%. So yeah, it's just it's telling the Solar Edge to shut down. Let's go back inside. Actually, here. Heat pump still running. Didn't click off at all or anything. So now on the Sol-Ark we got the grid is yellow, which means that it's off, and 0. And we're getting 290 watts from the north facing roof. We're putting 2.7 or 2.07 kW to the house, and 1.5 is coming from the battery now. That just dropped right down because the coffee maker's on. Over here we got a fault light, which 2 times 22 is the frequency is too high. So you see the frequency at 61.5, so this is being told to stay off right now. I did notice that when I came inside, my kids were still watching TV. Nothing had shut off. The internet was still on. So pretty cool that we can lose power from the grid without losing anything else. You know, we don't notice it. Double toaster and a coffee maker running now. We're at 2.73. Let's see there. So look at that. We got 2.1 kW, 2155 on one leg and 573 on the other leg. Alright, so I'm going to try charging my car here. I have a 2020 Chevy Bolt. See how it does. Oh, I just got the single beep, which means it's charging. See the green light. There we go. Cool, let's go inside and see what it's doing. Alright, so the cool thing about the ChargePoint charger is that you can set it, this is a 32 amp rated charger, but you can also set it to 20 amps. So 20 amps is better for my scenario here just because I'm running my entire house through the Sol-Ark, so I only have a 50 amp service. But you can see, let's see, we're pulling 4,500 watts from the battery, and they're pretty much balanced out because it's 240 volt, and that's the majority of the load there. We're also at 94% now. And the Solar Edge has decided it's time to come back on. So the frequency shifted back to 60 hertz. And because it's below, the cutoff. So there we go. This is going to start up now. Cool. So now the sun's coming out a little bit more. We're at 2,700 watts. And then over over here, you can see there's still about 1,500 watts coming from the battery. So that's the kind of cool part about AC coupling with this, is that, you know, that AC coupled inverter is going to make up the difference. So the power just comes straight from the sun, straight through that inverter to your loads. Doesn't touch the battery at all, and then the Sol-Ark is making up the difference. Just a couple minutes later, the sun's really coming out now. 3,800 watts. So I have 930 watts coming from the north-facing panel. We're still charging the car. I only have 120 watts coming out of the battery. And then the load is 960 watts. So that's, you know, what the car is using minus what the SolarEdge is putting into it, and then the difference is that 970 watts. So that's what's going to the load, but there's that 930 watts here, so then there's only 150, and the math doesn't quite line up just because of what the inverter is pulling as well. But it's really cool how it's doing this. I'm going to try starting the dryer in a minute here. I haven't turned the dryer on yet, but SolarEdge is doing 2,200 watts. And over here we have 3,700 watts going to the loads. So if you add up what the SolarEdge is producing, you know, we're at about, I don't know, 5,800, a little bit more. So doing well, 89%. We're still discharging, but that's fine. So here it looks like we're charging at about 4 kW. So that's good. I'm not trying to charge at the level 2 rate, really. Kind of more like 1.5. The level 2 rate would be 7,600 watts, and that's going to be pushing my inverter to its maximum. So there we go. Okay, dishwasher's running. Got the Mitsubishi mini split here. This one's pushing out some heat. Let's go check the one in the basement too. Yep, and this one is also putting out heat. And there's something sitting on top of it. Alright, well, power's dropping. It looks like we've got a big cloud coming over, or a storm or something. I'm not sure. But so only 875 watts out of the SolarEdge, and we're up to, what is that, about 5 kW coming out of the Sol-Ark. Still charging the car. The car is getting 3.85 kW. So that's 16 amps at 240 volts. I love the battery screen on here. It shows you exactly what's happening here, minus the temperature. But 84.8 amps coming out of the battery. Battery voltage 58.04 volts. Shows you what's on line 1, line 2. Alright, with the dishwasher running, we're up at 6.5 kW coming out of the battery. What do we have over here? 788 watts. That's pretty terrible. Almost 800. Really cloudy out there. Alright, I think I'm going to turn the car off at this point. It's been charging for a while now. I think I put about 7 kilowatt hours into it. And yeah, it's super cloudy out right now, so I'm draining my battery pretty fast. We're at 67% still, but you know, I don't charge my car that often anyway, so it didn't really need a charge. So I'm gonna turn it off, and we'll keep going. Now finally we're charging the battery. 600 watts going in. SolarEdge up at 2,100 watts. I did turn the car off, but everything else is still running, dishwasher included. So yeah, looking good. Starting to get a charge here. Alright, now charging at 1.3 kW. I'm gonna run the dryer now. Well, mostly because I need to do some laundry, but yeah, here we go. Okay, so a little flicker on the lights. Not bad. Solar Edge is producing 2800. And we're pulling 4.6 from the battery and 5 kW to the loads. Keep in mind that I got a fridge or two running, I got the dishwasher running, everything, a couple of heat pumps, so pretty good. Oops. What do we got here? Alarm overload fault. So I really wouldn't try running the dryer. I'm not quite sure what happened there. You know, probably it was cycling on and off. Maybe one of the times it kicked off the Solar Edge. I'm not exactly sure. But it'll come right back on again here. It should turn right back on again here. Just a minute. Oh. There we go. I forgot to turn the lights on. There we are. Cool. So I'm gonna hold off on the dryer for now. Well, the cool part is after that power outage, the dishwasher continued where it left off. So that's neat. I didn't know it would do that. I don't know if you can see it in there, but I got my heat pump water heater. It's a Rheem Pro 80. A few years old. That thing's running now. Perfectly fine. And by the looks of it, we're charging the battery again. That is awesome. Well, finally the sun's coming out. So we're charging the battery at 5 kW. Which is 86 amps. 70% battery now. Alright, so the sun's really out now, and what I'm seeing is the Sol-Ark is actually kicking the Solar Edge off. Watch the amperage go up there. Oh, okay, now we're good. It was up at 9 or so kW, which is pushing the limits here. There we go. They're at 175 amps, 170, 180 amps. So the max charge I have this set to is 185. I had it set to 175 before, and it was actually kicking it. So what it was doing is it was just frequency shifting just enough to kick off the Solar Edge, and then letting it turn back on just to make sure that it would still turn back on. But yeah, we're charging it almost 9 kW. Jeez, over 10 kW actually. We're getting some crazy cloud edge. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. There we go. Now it's coming. Now it's going away. That was a lot, though. I'm maxing this out. I'm gonna have to turn something off here. There we go. Still getting 2.1 kW off of my north-facing roof, which is 2.6. That's pretty amazing. Now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn off the DC coupled. And then I'll let the AC coupled come back on. And then I'm going to turn the dryer on. There we go, that's coming on. Okay, now we got the dryer on. Still charging the battery at 3.3 kW. Solar Edge is putting out over 10 kW now. So guys, I would just like to point out that I am slightly over the limit here for AC coupling. You know, the Sol-Ark says 9,600 watts is the maximum for AC coupling. That being said, you know, I rarely see 10,000 watts out of this thing. We were having some crazy cloud edge going on. And so, yeah, it was being pushed to its max. Everything was being pushed to their max. The cool thing is, though, is that if you put in too much, the only thing the Sol-Ark does is it frequency shifts to shut down the AC coupled solar, and then it you know, allows it to go back to running normally once that event's over. Obviously, you don't want to, you know, tie in more than that for AC coupled, because, you know, eventually you're gonna do something that's not gonna work out well. So you know, but really cool that, you know, it won't overload it. It just shuts it off. Well, it might overload it. We don't want to find that out. So the dryer's still running now. You can see it. The element's now switching on and off. It's definitely a funky load. Alrighty, well, the sun's out. This is not even cloud edge. This is just straight sun because it's nice and cold out. So 9,300 watts. And over here, we're charging at 9.5 kW. So 9,500 watts. I got 1.5 coming from the north-facing roof. The dryer just finished its cycle, so we're just charging this battery right up now. It'll run the dryer just fine as long as the sun's out, but you know, otherwise it's kind of a weird load, so it just kicks it occasionally. Well, it's starting to get cloudy again, but still charging the battery. Charging at 400 watts, 88%, so everything's still running. I'm gonna head out for a bit. I'm gonna come back. I'll see what's going on here. All right, a couple hours later, I just got back. We're at 94%, still charging. And the Solar Edge is doing 1,500 watts. Overall, not too bad. Well, it's 6 o'clock at night. The sun just came out again. Doesn't happen very often here in Vermont. Oh, there it goes. All gone. It's still not bad. We're 94%. Discharging a little bit, not much. Alrighty guys, well, day one done. I'm gonna call it a night. Let me show you over here. What do we got? We have 82%. Discharging at 1.3 kW. And then we have my Solar Edge that never actually shuts off. The DC voltage always stays kind of high and the power production blinks, but you know, that's just a Solar Edge thing. So, sun's gone down, no more production. And yeah, just running straight on batteries. You can see today, 5.6 kilowatt hours from the north-facing roof. So that's pretty awesome. And the Solar Edge did 16.7 kilowatt hours. So we really put this thing through its paces today. Well, I'll do another one again tomorrow. I'm gonna keep it running off grid tonight. So yeah, thanks for watching. Got anything you want to add to it? Put it in the comments below and hit the subscribe button, and see you on the next one.